My name is Barry Kavanagh. I'm from Tokyo University in Japan.
Hello, my name is Satsuki Kojima. I'm from Miyagi University in Japan.
Welcome to our presentation. Today we will talk about enhancing SDG knowledge and writing skills through CLIL, a qualitative analysis. So if we look at the literature review, studies have shown that CLIL students usually outperform their EFL counterparts with respect to writing, especially written grammar, textual discourse features, including discourse markers, fluency, syntactic and lexical complexity. And studies within the Japanese university context on writing within CLIL classes are very much underrepresented. And also there are no studies on a CLIL SDG class. So we are hoping today's research will fill that gap in the literature. So most previous studies on CLIL students' writing performance are focused on macro level features. This means discourse competence, cohesion, structure, or micro level features, for example, syntactic complexity, lexical complexity, and so on. In the current study, we will focus not on the above, but also we aim to explain and examine how students became more aware of SDGs through content analysis of their writing. So our study aims today are: how does a CLIL SDG course improve students' content knowledge, grammatical awareness, and awareness of SDGs as expressed through their writing? So over to Satsuki, who will talk about the textbook that we used.
Okay, now from here, I would like to explain about the textbook we used. Next slide, please. The text consists of 14 units and was created by combining some of the 17 SDG goals, such as you can see in the Unit 1, no poverty, zero hunger. And this textbook is created by deliberately and organically integrating the 4 C's of CLIL. Therefore, it incorporates exercise that utilize all 4 skills across different content. Next slide, please. This is an example of the textbooks. So for the first background and the facts and figure will be discussed a little bit to get to know about the general idea of each goals. And then in the vocabulary task, learners fill in the simple words and think about the meaning of the words. Then they work in pairs to do vocabulary activities, like what does the word poverty means. Next, they conduct an online research and quiz to discover different facts and discuss their contents. And students will have time to discuss the content after listening and reading tasks. And of course, students will give a presentation at the end of each unit. Next slide, please. The course was held 15 times in one semester, and third-year education majors and second and third and fourth years of students joined the study. And 64 university students took this course. Next slide, please. Here is the schedule of the course. Students were taught about 3 times, unit 1, 2, 3. And then after that, students made a group presentation twice. And at the end, students did a solo presentation 1 time. Next slide, please. Here is the methodology of our research this time. For the first class, students did the writing pre-test, 25 minutes. And also at the last class, students did the writing post-test again, using 25 minutes. And the topic of the writing test is SDGs are important and everybody should be aware of them. Do you agree with this statement? Next slide, please. Now I'll talk about the data analysis. First, I would like to talk about the words count. So we focused on the average word count. We calculated the average number of words for each student for pre-writing and post-writing. So we focused on the micro level of grammatical feature, especially this time we focused on tense and subject-verb agreements. And next slide, please. Okay, for the writing analysis, as I said, we calculated the average number of words in the pre-test, pre and post writing for each class. And as a result, when the pre and post test writing was analyzed by t-test, a statistical significant difference was observed. Next slide, please. Here is the result. For the University 1, pre-test average number was 78, move up to 108. For the University 2, pre-test average word count was 87, move up to 141. And for the both university, those increased but statistically significant. So this is a proof that their content knowledge might has increased. Next slide, please. Also, we did a writing analysis focusing on not only the total words count, but also for the grammar feature. So we investigated changes in tense errors in pre-test and post pre-writing and post-writing. And we also considered the correct and incorrect answer for all subject-verb agreements in writing. And we conducted a T-square test to determine if there was a statistical variation between them. Next slide, please. Here is an example that we excluded from the total counts because there is no subject-verb agreement between those examples like it is, I agree, and after auxiliary verb. They are also excluded. And also past tense, there is no agreement. So also we deleted this too. This is, that is, and some question, do you know, are excluded for the total count. Next slide, please. As a result, tense errors decreased in 2 universities, but only 1 university saw a statistical advance, University 1. For the University 2, even though the error decreased from 17 to 14, there was no statistically significant difference. Next slide, please. These are the example of students' error. Students made an error like a third person singular S, or plural subject goes with a singular verb like is, SDGs is. Maybe they didn't know SDGs is a plural. Also, they didn't know much about the everybody, everyone goes with a singular verb. And next slide, please. These are the example the students made the correct writing. For the post test, maybe they learned everyone is a singular, so everyone changes, the situation proceeds. And also, students use the long subject like protecting the future global environmental is reducing greenhouse gases helps. So gases is a plural, but it's a singular. Reducing greenhouse gases is a singular subject went with helps. So they were also understand long subject. So previous research showed that the tense error decrease in speech, but this study discovered that CLIL can decrease tense error in writing too. Barry will talk about next topic.
Okay, thank you very much, Satsuki. So I will talk about the writing analysis that we did, which focuses on content. So for this, we used a thematic mixed methods approach using Max QDA software. So we got the pre and post test essays and loaded it into the software, and the sentences for each essay were coded as follows. So SDG keywords. So here we wanted to look at keywords students used in their essays which are related to SDG themes such as environment, global warming, gender equality, etc. Next, we have expression of basic opinion. Here we coded sentences which started with I think, I believe, I agree, and went on to express a basic opinion. And in green here we have reasons why people should be aware, reasons for their basic opinion. So usually sentences which started with firstly, secondly, my reasons are, or because, we coded as reasons. And the last one, the purple one, we coded solutions. Solutions were marked with expressions such as we should, we need to, we must, or to solve. So here are the basic findings. So let's look at SDG keyword. So if you look at each university, from their pre-test to post-test, keywords usually go up. So what we found was in the pre-test, the SDG keyword, which many students seem to use, were very, very basic, not much variation. They used words like environment, global warming, environment, global warming. So not much variation, but in the post-test, they used more variety. They used more themes, there's social justice, yeah, inequality, etc. So that would show that they learned a lot in the class and they could write more about variation of SDGs. The basic opinion also went up, so students expressed themselves more and in more variety as well. And their reasons for opinions went up as well, significantly. But the most important thing which we will look at today is solutions. So in the first essay, in the pre-test essays, many students did not write any kind of solution, or it was written very, very infrequently. But in the post-test, students not only wrote a basic opinion, reasons for the opinion, but they wrote solutions, how to make this situation better or how to reach an SDG goal. So we also wanted to look at percentages and give you a more visual representation of our data. So we did this through a document portrait analysis. So we wanted to analyze the volume percentage-wise. So students wrote more in the post-test, but how much more did they write according to each coded segment? So document portrait takes the size of the segments into account and weights the color according to the segment size. So hopefully that will make sense. So here we can see for University 1 in the first semester, in orange, the keywords went slightly down. This is probably understandable because they're talking more about solutions or reasons for their answers. But what I would like you to, the green is reasons for their opinions. The blue is stating an opinion, basic opinion, and the purple is solutions. So the biggest jump we found was solutions, yeah. So from 21% to 32%. Students were more aware of SDGs, what they're about, and how we can solve them or reach the goals of these particular SDGs. And University 1 in the second semester, again, a big jump for solutions in purple. So of course, because we're dealing with percentages, some will go down, others will go up, but solutions is the biggest change and most significantly different across the pre-test and post-test datasets. In University 2, the jump was from 36% to 40% for solutions. This is probably because University 2 students seem to be quite aware of SDGs prior to starting the course. They were more globally aware, perhaps. So that's why we don't see a big jump there. So why do we have a significant increase in students given more solutions in our data? I think probably it's because of our textbook content. Textbook content usually starts in stages where they're given some facts and figures to look at, then they're given some vocabulary, and then they're given some questions. And we usually, within the unit, it's usually a question about discuss this, or what do you think about this, or what do you think should be done about this? So the textbook encourages HOTS or higher order thinking skills. We want students to critically think about a solution, give their ideas on how to solve a solution. Yeah, so these lesson activities and lesson steps in the book actually push us towards an emphasis on HOTS, which is what CLIL aims to do. So here we have a sample of student writing. This is a pre-test sample. Here we have a simple basic opinion. I agree with the statement. Okay. And some reasons. I understand that the purpose of SDGs is creating a nice world and getting to know many problems of world. For example, of problems, education gap, gender gap, and so on. If only a few problems are aware of SDGs, their purpose of SDG will not achieve. So this was not marked. This is how the student wrote it. But it's quite basic. It's basic opinion and reasons. But if we compare that to a student who wrote in the post-test, and this is the same student. So yes, I agree with the statement. Reasons, I learned a lot about the issues in this class. There are many people can't eat food, can't use safe water, and can't get work in the world. I think SDG is important for them to support their life. So these reasons show how much they learned in the class. Here we have solutions. For example, we don't discharge used water. We reduce food loss. We share food. On the other hand, global warming, we can prevent the problem. For example, we use public transportation where we travel. We use LED bulbs. We don't leave the refrigerator open. So here the student gives an opinion, the reason for opinion, and some solutions on some of the things that she brings up. And then she concludes with a reason on why she thinks SDGs are important. Yeah, so a very, very good example of what we found in the post-tests. So the writing results, so comparing the pre and post-test samples, we found that students wrote more, and this was statistically significant. Their tense errors decreased. There's more lexical diversity in their writing, more awareness of SDGs and solutions, and more personal view, not general view of SDGs in the post-test. For example, many students talked about volunteer activities they did at high school, where they had to clean the beach and why it was important, etc. And they learned more vocabulary in terms related to SDGs, and they provided lots of solutions. So they became more globally aware. So conclusion, this study evaluated the effectiveness of a CLIL course in teaching university students about SDGs. So we specifically examined pre and post-test results, which revealed significant improvements in student written work in terms of content and awareness of SDGs and possible solutions to achieve them. So we think these preliminary findings highlight the effectiveness of a CLIL approach in enhancing academic writing skills and knowledge of SDGs at a Japanese university. So future directions, we did not teach writing explicitly in this course. We mainly focused on speaking and presentation skills. So we were now thinking about doing when we do the course again, actually teaching our students explicitly how to write. Yeah. And then we're hoping to see even better results. Also, we would like to look at reading comprehension. Will reading skills improve across the universities? Another thing we might look at is teacher differences. So I am a so-called native speaker. Satsuki is a so-called non-native speaker. We have different teaching styles, different approaches, although we follow the same syllabus. So do they affect results? Yeah, perhaps indirectly. Yeah. So those are things we would like to look at in the future. So thank you very much for watching our presentation. Here is a list of references. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.